Hello everyone, my name's Lucie. I'm a product engineer for Focla. We work in the same team with Antoine. I'm in charge of the mountain trekker set. So these are trekkers that go away for several days with their rucksack and they live in the mountains for those few days. And I'm also the environmental leader for the Focla brand. Now today I'd like to talk to you about a project or a business requirement. And with the group we said, okay, how can we act at our level so that we can reduce the impact of our products and therefore stabilize all of our carbon emissions by 2020? We started by taking a snapshot of what we do, and we realized that 40% of our impact of the mountain trekking department was generated by two families, men and women's insulated jackets. That represents 10% of the brand. And then we went a step further. We said that one product, so one for men, one for women, the X-Lite jacket represents 25% of that. And so that's a quarter of our emissions. That represents 13,000 tons of CO2, so that's 6% of the impact of the Focla brand. After that, we said, okay, we know where to act, but the question we had to ask ourselves was, how can we decrease the carbon footprint of our insulated jackets family? We started by redesigning the jacket because the X-Lite was going to be redesigned so that we could improve the user satisfaction because our customers weren't very happy. They said that the product lost its feathers, feathers were difficult to wash, and so the first aim was to try and find an alternative to down and feathers which would keep all of the same advantages, so nice and warm, lightweight, but at the same time we had to try and do away with all the disadvantages, losing the feathers, problems with washing, etc. And so we started working with a new industrial designer on a filling solution which would be down-like, so like feathers and down, but without the inconvenience. And we found ourselves working with a down-like synthetic padding. The only problem was we wanted to eco-design the product, and we found ourselves with a synthetic solution using fossil fuel rather than a natural solution. So we had to try and find another way of working with this filling, and that's why we started using a 70% recycled fiber padding. We then realized as well that on a product like the X-Lite, 80% of the impact is generated by the components. And again, this was something that we were going to have to work on. And in order to reduce the impact, 25% of the impact is due to the dyeing. And so we wanted to try and change the dye and use a dope dye process. Now, I don't know if you know what dope dyeing is. I'm not going to explain it straight away because it would take such a long time. But if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to come and see me afterwards in the break. What you have to remember is that the outer fabric is going to be dope dyed, so it will be plain like a traditional fabric. The customers won't know any difference, but it'll be a cleaner type of dyeing. And we also validated the fact that all of our jacket lining would be two-tone, so it's woven dyed, and as we're not just dyeing one out of every two threads, we're also more ecological. Now, it's a bit technical there, but come and see me afterwards if you need any more details. The third point isn't in terms of the CO2, but it's more in terms of the toxic materials. Now, all of our shower-proof treating uses fluoride treatment, which isn't very good for animals. And so we validated a fluoride-free solution, and we had confirmation 2 days ago, so I'm so delighted about this. And so we'll be coming in with a solution that's not toxic for fish or for any other animals, men and other users as well included. A last point, which joins what Antoine said earlier on with regards to durability. Noé Brasseur has been working on a project with us, and he has drafted guidelines so that we can design products which will make it easier for us to repair the zips. And this solution has been now put into place, and we guarantee that all of our zips are easily repairable. However, we'll have to make sure that all of the workshops and the stores can actually make the solution available in the workshop so that people can bring their jackets along to be repaired. Another important point is we're able to reduce the weight of the jacket by 15%. That gives us huge economic savings in terms of logistics because there's less weight to carry, and it's also a double advantage because it's fair play in production, which means that we wanted to try and choose suppliers who were better in terms of being environmentally friendly. So we try and favor all of our suppliers who have an A grade rather than a C grade. And then the last point is once that the product is really dead, once you've already repaired the zip and stuck lots of patches on it, we wanted to make sure that we could do some upcycling, end-of-life recycling, and make a cushion maybe with that jacket afterwards so that it continues with a new life. Then we said to ourselves, well, we could go a bit further, and why don't we try and eco-design all of the insulated jacket family? And we said, well, let's try and apply what we did for the X-Lite to all of the insulated jackets. That was the first approach. Then after that, we said to ourselves, okay, the Biton fabric is probably the most ecological one that exists today, so let's use it for all of our linings. So that was another victory because we were able to validate this with all of the project team. So all of our jackets now have a Biton fabric lining, which has very little environmental impact. And then the last point is maybe a little bit more innovative, and it's a bit of a preview here in terms of the information. We wanted to develop different fabrics with dope dye threads. It took us a long time to get to this solution, and so we said, let's take advantage of this development so that from thread we could make several components. And so with the thread, and depending on the weave, we'll be able to make different types of armor, and with different color, we'll also be able to make different color ranges. And so with 3 dope dye threads, you can actually achieve 6 different effects and therefore improve as well. From one thread, you can have eco-designed fabrics and components. So to conclude, what do we need? Well, we need strong collaboration with the woven department so that we could achieve what we needed. So we had to deploy the dope dye fabric process throughout the world in production because, unfortunately, for the moment, it's only available in China, whereas the X-Lite is also produced in Vietnam, Bangladesh, China, well, everywhere. And then secondly, it's also going to help us to develop fabric structures, and the idea is to be able to guarantee our functions in terms of resistance and also develop other colors which will fit in better with our color range. The last point is that with the project group, we wanted to have the best preparation possible so that we could develop and industrialize and therefore remove all of the obstacles which could be a hindrance to the dope dye process, because we have to have a minimum number of quantities. It's a process which is new in industrialization, so we have got to make sure that we remove all of the obstacles so that this project can be a winning project for the trekking department and therefore for Decathlon. And then to conclude, I just wanted to remind you that eco-design is time-consuming. We do it because we believe in it, but in eco-design, there's the idea of the ecology, and ecology, it needs resources, and so my main need is to have more operation and resources which can help us to move forward on this subject. Thank you very much, and I'm available if you have any questions.
Merci Lucie pour ce beau projet.
Thank you for that great project. We spoke about feathers earlier, and as we have a community, I'm going to introduce Ronan. Ronan is Mr. Animal Wellbeing.
Non, pas encore.
No music yet.
He's our
Mr. Animal Wellbeing. So if you want to know how we remove feathers from chickens, then go and ask him because he knows all about it.
Nous allons accueillir
and let's move on and let's welcome Guillaume Dodon.